Book review by Blood by Salt, Land of Exile, Book 1 by Elliot Brooks. Elliot Brooks by Blood by Salt is a sweeping, slow-burn epic that explores the intricacies of power, identity, and survival in a crumbling empire built on debt, blood, and sand. With its gritty tone, morally complex characters, and starkly poetic prose, the novel cements Brooks' bold new voice in the genre of character-driven military fantasy. The book is both pulse-pounding adventure and philosophical meditation on the cost of obedience and what it means free in world built to keep people in chains. Plot summary. Azetla has spent 13 brutal years serving the Empire. Moro is that soldier once stripped of rank and rights. He is now commander in all but name. Legally bound to obey, unofficially relied upon, and ultimately expendable. Branded pariah, his sword is both symbol of his value and reminder of his subjugation. It is illegal for a man like him to own such weapon, much less wield it. But wield it he does expertly, silently, on shadow of duty and disgrace. There are 7 years left until Azetla's debt is paid, 7 years until freedom. But in Moro, freedom is often an illusion, especially for those who have seen the truth of war, power, and imperial ambition. When he's assigned to lead battalion into the blistering wastes, treacherous sun-seared region on the edge of civilization, his fragile existence is pushed to the breaking point. The objective, hunt down Sar Devil One, mysterious, brutal beings of the desert. Yet from the outset, it's clear this is no ordinary military mission. For the Emperor of Moro, this campaign is a spectacle, way to reinforce his image as fearless even against legends. For the Emperor's younger brother, Lauren, it's an opportunity to spark rebellion under the guise of service. For Azetla, it's something far worse. Trap, one misstep, one incorrect allegiance, and his carefully preserved anonymity and life will be forfeit. As the mission unfolds, Azetla is thrust into a web of political maneuvering and trick, are more complex than anything he has faced on the battlefield. In the heart of the waste, Azetla comes face to face with the so-called devil, woman named Saehari, fierce and enigmatic, with skin the color of scorched bronze and eyes like heat mirages. Far from mindless killer, she is something else entirely. Intelligent, strategic, and utterly unafraid. Her people, the Saar, are not monsters, but survivors, protectors of ancient knowledge, and the last best freedom outside the Empire's crushing grasp. Saehari is no ordinary enemy. She sees through Azetla's chains, both visible and hidden, and offers him deal, not peace, but purpose. She claims the Empire is already falling, poisoned from within by greed and betrayal, and her Azetla sees an escape. But also mirrored, she is ruthless, secretive, and motivated by scars deeper than he can comprehend. Trust is off the table, but so is surrender. His skirmishes escalate in Moro's, and the visions threaten open civil war as Azetla finds himself caught between two crumbling worlds, one that enslaved him and one that tempts him with wild, unpredictable freedom. With Saehari's help or manipulation, he begins to peel back the layers of the Emperor's lies. The devil in the desert is not the monster they were sent to destroy, but perhaps the only one who can prevent the Empire from unleashing something far worse. As his battalion fractures under pressure, and whispers of rebellion grow louder, Azetla must decide where his loyalty truly lies. The choices are grim: return to master who sees him as disposable, betray the comrades who still serve the Empire, or gamble his life and soul, unpacked with someone who thrives on chaos, in land where blood binds oaths and salt stains betrayal. Every promise exacts cost. Haunted by his past, hunted by his enemies, and drawn to Saehari's defiance, Azetla stands at crossroads. The war he's been fighting is no longer just for survival. It's for identity, redemption, and the right to decide his own fate. But in a world where devils speak truths and emperors wear masks, even freedom may be lost. And by Blood, by Salt, Elliot Brooks crafts brutal and lyrical tale of exile and allegiance, where the lines between hero, villain, and monster are as shifting as the desert sands. Gripping blend of military fantasy, political intrigue, and moral ambiguity. This first installment in the Land of Exile series challenges every certainty, starting with who exactly is the real devil. Broken man and broken empire. The story follows Azetla, that soldier and field commander of the Moran army who has served for 13 years to repay debt that once stripped him of citizenship, dignity, and agency. Though highly competent and clearly respected by his men, Azetla's authority is unofficial and precarious. He is man surviving in the cracks of merciless imperial machine, bound by laws that criminalize the very tools he uses to stay alive. Sword, for instance, is illegal for him to wield, yet he wields it daily, quietly, and expertly. Azetla's characterization is one of the novel's strongest assets. He is neither an archetypal hero nor a ruthless anti-hero. Rather, he is something far more human, Tired, calculating, haunted, and slowly awakening, Brooks writes him with remarkable restraint, showing rather than telling the weight of his trauma, his bitterness, and his hunger for something more. He isn't looking to save the world, he's just trying to get through it. But the world, it seems, has plans. Into the wastes, the setup. Azetla's battalion is sent on dangerous mission into the blistering wastes to capture or kill Sardevil figure out of legend said to terrorize the desert tribes. What begins as politically motivated performance for the Emperor quickly unravels into something far more dangerous. Covert rebellion, tests of loyalty, and an encounter with so-called devil who upends every assumption. That devil turns out to be Saehari, woman from the desert with bladish. As her tongue and secrets buried deep beneath the sands, she's the perfect foil for Azetla. Fierce, cunning, and unwilling to kneel. Far from monster, Saehari is strategist, survivor, and the voice of people who refuse to be conquered by the Empire's ever-tightening grip. Themes of power, subjugation, and moral grayness. The world of By Blood, By Salt is defined by rigid hierarchies. Legal, racial, military, and economic. Debt is more than a financial arrangement and moral. It is a tool of slavery, branding people as second-class citizens or worse. Azetla is not only bound by his past, but also by laws that deny him the right to fully exist within the empire he serves. Brooks uses this premise to great thematic effect, examining how systems of oppression perpetuate themselves and the ways individuals internalize or resist their roles within them. At the same time, Brooks avoids easy binaries. The Sahr are not romanticized noble savages, nor are the Marlins cartoon villains. Each faction, character, and institution is treated with layered sense of realism. Even the Emperor, though distant and symbolic, is more than a tyrant. He is the product of an ancient system that eats its own. Trust is rare in this world, and alliances shift like desert sand. Azetla and Saehari's uneasy partnership, born more of necessity than belief, serves as microcosm for the novel's broader commentary on loyalty, pragmatism, and the cost of rebellion. Saehari may not be trustworthy, but neither is Azetla. Both have blood on their hands and both understand that in war, the truth is often the first casualty. Style and structure. Elliot Brooks' prose is elegant without ever becoming overwrought. There's stark, almost poetic cadence to her writing, especially when describing the desert landscape or Azetla's internal monologues. The tone is evocative of The Traitor Baru Cormorant by Seth Dickinson and The Poppy War by R. F1, gritty, morally complex, and unsparing in its emotional weight. Chapters move with measured pacing, building tension gradually rather than rushing from one battle to the next. Brooks prioritizes character and atmosphere over spectacle, and the result is a novel that feels immersive and lived in. Dialogue is sharp and purposeful, often loaded with subtext, especially in scenes between Azetla and Saehari. The book avoids the traditional fantasy exposition dump. Instead, it trusts the reader to learn the world through context, implication, and character action. This makes the reading experience feel more authentic, though it may also challenge readers who prefer more direct approach to world building. Compelling debut and promising series. As the first book in the Land of Exile series, By Blood, By Salt does not aim to tie up all loose ends. Instead, it lays rich, ominous foundation for what's to come, while it contains satisfying arcs, particularly in Azetla's gradual awakening. It leaves many questions unanswered and many threads still frayed. The ending isn't cliffhanger in the traditional sense, but it does crack open larger world, hinting at conspiracies, ancient forces, and the long shadows of history. There are hints of magical or supernatural elements, but they are subtle and never fully explained. Yet, this restraint strengthens the novel's grounded tone and maintains its focus on political and personal conflict. The magic, when it does surface, feels earned and consequential, not flashy or gratuitous. Final thoughts. By Blood, By Salt is gripping, thought-provoking start to series that promises even more moral ambiguity, emotional depth, and political complexity in the volumes to come. Elliot Brooks refuses to deliver easy answers, instead immersing readers in a world where survival often demands compromise and the right path is rarely clear. It is a story about exile, in the political, cultural, and personal sense. Azetla is exiled from his past, from citizenship, from belonging. Saehari lives in exile from imperial encroachment, her people's stories twisted into propaganda. The land itself, harsh and unforgiving, seems to exile all who try to tame it. And yet, amidst all this loss, there's persistent flicker and hope that through struggle, defiance, and uneasy alliances, something new might be born. Fans of morally complex fantasy, layered character development, deeply human stories will find much to admire in By Blood, By Salt. It's not just a tale of rebellion and survival. It's meditation on what it costs to claim your own name and world, determined to erase it. Rating 4.5 stars.